Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, ladies and gentlemen that listen to the podcast. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and this is the Better Love Movement podcast. I am your resident podcast host, your love advocate and love mentor, and licensed therapist. I am going to be launching, well, actually, it is already launched, the pre-order for the brand new book, the follow-up to my first book, the brand new book, Do Well, A Feminine Woman's Guide to Relationship Success, is available for pre-order on Amazon right now. Please click the link in the show notes. Please click the link underneath the YouTube video that you may be listening to this through and pre-order your copy today. I am so excited about this follow-up. It's taking me a little longer than I expected. I had hoped to have the follow-up done before Thanksgiving, but my life is it's been really crazy. All of the things that I still have to manage, even being an empty nester, I still find that managing my time and everything that I have on my plate to be very difficult still. So please head over to Amazon, click the link in the show notes, and order the brand new book that will be coming out shortly. It is called Do Well, A Feminine Woman's Guide to Relationship Success. So this is the second part of the formula that I give for happy, healthy, long-term relationships and marriage. Remember, two things that we need to do. The first thing is we need to choose well. That's why I wrote the first book, to teach women how to choose a good, healthy, masculine man, to choose a man that is the best fit for them. So not solely focusing on chemistry, not solely focusing on looks or how much money he makes. We must be prepared to dive deeper. We must be structured and intentional. That's the most important part when we're putting our blueprint together and our formula together. When we're choosing, we're not rushing, we're not jumping into sexual intimacy too soon. We're taking our time, because that's how we're going to keep our minds level-headed and clear. That's how we're going to avoid bonding to men that may not be a good fit for us. And that is super, super important. So the first step is to choose well, right? And I've always said this, I personally believe women really suck at this part. We don't choose the best man for us. We choose based on things that don't really matter or are not going to lead to relationship success. And then a year, 2, 5, 7 years in, we finally realize, wow, there's so many things that I want to need or that I don't want that this person has. And to some extent, it's kind of too late. I mean, you can always break up or get a divorce, but that is not my hope for you. My hope for you is that you take your time on the front end, as they say, an ounce, well, how does the saying go? An ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. Like that's who I am at my core. And I think I became this way kind of the hard way. I've made so many mistakes in life, so many mistakes. And you're about to hear about all the mistakes I made in my marriage. So, I've made so many mistakes in life, and now I'm really on team prevention. Like that's what I'm all about. I'm about let's handle this on the front end as opposed to making a bad choice and trying to play catch up on the back end. I talk to women about this so much that we have to be prepared to do the work on the front end so that we don't have all of these problems on the back end. And as a marriage counselor in my private practice, 98% of what I see in couples is, people who are not a good fit for each other, people who chose each other for all the wrong reasons. And now I am pulling out my mop and bucket and trying to mop up the mess that has been made. So I'm really passionate about my premarital work, my couples counseling for couples who are not married yet. I'm really, really passionate about that because I want to help them choose the best person for them, do the work on the front end, make sure they're making a good choice. And then the second part of the formula is once we're in that relationship, once we're exclusive and committed, once we are engaged, once we are married, we are going to do well. We're going to learn all of the relationship skills necessary for us to show up in the relationship and just do well. We're going to do our best as a healthy feminine woman. That's super important. I've seen relationships where, yes, the woman comes in and her behaviors are completely unhealthy. She's not held accountable for some of the behaviors that she has. She is on her masculine side. She is controlling. She is, not allowing the man to lead in a healthy way. She is, it's hard to make her happy. No matter what the man does, she just isn't happy. And this book is going to address a lot of those things. It's going to have you stay on your side of the street. You're going to keep your focus on you. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing on your side, the hope is that the other person will do their part as well. So please, please pre-order the new book that will be out shortly. It's called Do Well, A Feminine Woman's Guide to Relationship Success. I am super, super excited about it. So this week on the podcast, I am coming for my single moms. I just got to keep it real. I'm a single mother, as you all know. I was divorced it's been about 18 years now. So for the last 18 years, I've been a single mother. My heart goes out to single mothers. It really, really does. However, I have to hold women and single mothers accountable and responsible because I believe that's the way to empower them. That when they can see their part in something, when they can see their power to change and grow and change situations, that's when they're going to have success. And so, yes, I do hold their feet to the fire because I see a lot of behaviors. I see a lot of things going on that it's them. There are things that are happening that, yes, they have to make some changes. And so today's episode number 141, it's entitled Single Moms, Your Role in Raising a Healthy Masculine Man. So where do I begin? If you have a son or sons, like me, I have a son, then you play a part in that son growing up to one day be a healthy masculine man. There are things that you can do. There are behaviors that you can exhibit. There are ways that you have as a feminine woman, especially if you're new to this healthy feminine woman journey, that are going to help your young son to become a healthy masculine man. Now, I want you to understand this. Another man, so preferably that son's father, that is his role model for what a man is. So if he is a healthy masculine man, and that father, shows his son by, going out and working, how he treats his mother, what he does around the house, how he speaks to people, he looks at him as the role model for, wow, these are the things my father is doing. And so that's what manhood is. That's what manhood looks like. And our hope is that their dad is a healthy example, right? That he's employed, that he's going out and working, he's coming home, he's speaking to his wife with respect, he's treating everyone with kindness. He is disciplined, he's focused, he has traits about him that make him a good person. That is our hope. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of us, we have fathers for our children that may not be that. They may be lacking in a lot of those areas. They may be lacking in a lot of those skills. And, at the end of the day, can I be transparent in this episode? Okay, some of us didn't choose great, right? Myself included. My hand is raised. I didn't make the best choice in terms of character when choosing a father for my children. And I have to take ownership of that. I have to take ownership of the fact that I did not know all the things I know now, but even the things I did know, the red flags that I did see, the things that I could say, this probably isn't a great fit, or this man, I don't know if he's mature enough to be a good father. I don't know if he has the character and the integrity to be a good father. I don't know. Right? I remember that being my thought when my first daughter was born. And yet, I moved forward. I accepted his ring. We got married. We had our first daughter. So I have to take responsibility for that. And I do. I have been on a healing journey around that. So now I'm in a great place in terms of, I don't sit around and beat myself up. I don't, ruminate about that. It is what it is. I've come to terms with it. It is what it is. I will say this, it has made my journey as a single mom a little more difficult than it needed to be, because their dad, is not mature or just doesn't have the emotional intelligence to properly father. He doesn't have the emotional intelligence. So I've had to kind of, go overboard in that area. But my children have still visited with their father. They have still spent lots of time with their father at his home and on trips and different things. I still encourage my son to spend time with his dad. His dad has 2 other sons. I encourage that they all spend time together. I still continue to encourage the relationship. It can be difficult because if I don't go out of my way to really make those suggestions, his dad may not. His dad may not take that initiative on his own. So I am still very much fostering that relationship between my son and his dad, because his dad is a man, and that's going to be his role model, along with other men that I introduce my son to in terms of what men do, what men are like, what men are about. Okay? But for moms, you are your son's first love. You are their idea of healthy femininity, right? So what do women do? What do women like? What would a woman like? See, mom is the first idea to a young boy of what women like, and what he needs to do to win the heart of a woman, right? What makes a woman smile? What makes a woman happy? And that's in the DNA of every young man. He wants to be of service to women. He wants to see women happy. He wants to, play his part in being of service and making her happy. And so, single moms, you can show and tell your son how to do just that. Number 1, I want you to encourage chivalry. I want you to encourage, and a lot of people think this is old-fashioned. I don't. I want you to encourage chivalry between you and your son and his sisters. That was something I did early on. When my son was 8 or 9, I encouraged that he open my door. I encouraged that he pull out my chair. At one point, we would go out to eat, and I would encourage my son to order for all of the ladies at the table. I encouraged that he be chivalrous and that he speak to us in a certain way, that he was kind, and that he was chivalrous, and that he would ask me, is there anything else I could do for you? Or can I bring you anything from upstairs, or whatever that looked like? But I encourage that he be chivalrous. And you can do that as early as, 6, 7, 8, 9. And remember, In this process of training, you are going to shower your son with admiration and appreciation. That is the key. You're going to be happy. You're going to be thrilled that your son is of service to you. That's super important. He has to see that what he does for you makes you happy. That is a feminine woman teaching a man of any age, that this is what makes me happy. This is what really brings me joy, is when you do this, when you do that. Oh, I just love that. See, that's what you're going to teach your son early on, how to make a woman happy. Right? So whether that woman is you, his sisters, his grandmother, his aunties, he's going to apply similar principles once he's older, once he's in middle school or in high school, to little girls that he likes. That's how that works. And instead, what I'm seeing mothers coddling their son. I'm seeing mothers enabling their son. I'm seeing mothers doing everything for their son and not requiring anything from their son. And what's going to happen is you're going to raise a man that you yourself have said, what's wrong with these men? Why don't they take initiative? Why aren't they responsible? Why aren't they chivalrous? Well, then somebody dropped the ball. And don't let it be you. Someone dropped the ball. Someone did not teach their 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old to be chivalrous, to treat mom with cherishing and care. And so, ladies, yes, you might be part of the problem. If you're not teaching your son how to speak and how to act around women and how to be a gentleman, that's the word. I mean, my son has heard that word a million times. Thank you so much for being a gentleman. I love gentlemen. I love when you help me to do this. Such a gentleman. I say that all the time. But you can be a part of that. He doesn't need another man to show him that. You're going to say, oh, thank you so much for opening my door. I say that when I walk up towards a door, I look to my son and say, thank you for opening the door. And he opens the door for me. It's just a gentle reminder that, yes, your chivalry is appreciated. That's what feminine women love. So, yes, I need you to start doing this. Start requiring that your son be a little gentleman. Okay? Second of all, I want you to impart to your son that he will be responsible for things. He will provide and protect, and he may not provide financially or through a job, but he will be responsible in your home. He will provide by doing tasks. He will provide by taking out the trash or walking the dog or feeding the dog or cutting the grass or raking the leaves or blowing the leaves or whatever other tasks you have for him, keeping his room clean. He should know how to wash his clothes. By the age of 12, 13, he should know how to wash his own clothes. He should know how to clean his own room. He should know how to cook a few things or feed himself. You should not be at your son's beck and call until he's 25. He should, around 11 or 12, be learning how to make some things, how to cook some things, how to heat up some things, how to feed himself. You shouldn't be breaking your neck to rush home, because I had to work overtime, but my poor son isn't going to have anything to eat. Your poor son is going to figure something out. He's going to make a sandwich or have cereal. He's going to feed himself. And yes, he needs to be responsible. He has to learn that as a feminine woman, you're not going to meet his every need until he's grown. You're going to allow yourself as soon as you can. And this is what I talk to so many single mothers about, because they're like, well, you're a single mother. You understand. We're in our masculine and our feminine. We have to be mom and dad. No, I'm not. I'm not mom and dad. I'm mom. And even then, I allow my son to give and do for me. I allow him to serve me. And when he turned 11 or 12, I started, shifting things off of my plate onto him. So now you're of age to learn how to wash your clothes. You're of age to take care of your dog. You're of age to blow these leaves or rake these leaves and work outside. You're of age. And see, that allowed me to lean back in my feminine and him to rise up in his masculine. because there were a whole lot of things that, yes, I was doing. But once my children turned of age, especially my son, I stopped doing those things. And why single mothers are wearing themselves out is they are not delegating. They're not allowing their sons, especially, to take on more responsibility. So my son will take on the responsibility of checking all the doors, making sure all the doors are locked and all the curtains are drawn. And I turn down the heat, in the evenings. But those are his responsibilities. Please make sure all the lights are turned off downstairs. Make sure the dog is in his room. Yes, I give my son responsibility, and I appreciate him, and I show admiration. I am grateful for everything that he does to make my load lighter. That's what I want you to do. I need you to start making your son responsible. What I have seen happen over and over is women who, are so tough on their daughters. And they're quick to tell their daughters, oh, you need to, get good grades, and you need to go to college, and you need to make your own money, and you need to make something of yourself. You can't depend on a man, and you should never depend on a man. You should have your own, and this and that. And I'm thinking, okay, are your sons getting that message? Because what I don't hear is you telling your sons, son, you need to get good grades. You need to go to college. You need to make something of yourself. You need to make money. You need to provide for your family. You need to provide for your wife and children. You need to make sure your wife and children your wife doesn't have to be out here working 40, 50 hours a week right alongside you. Like, I'm not hearing that message from single moms to their sons, and that's disturbing. That's incredibly disturbing to me. I have told my son from 11 years old, you need to get a good job. You need to make sure that, your wife, if she needs to, can stay at home with your children. Unless you want a daycare or a stranger raising your children, you need to make money, and I'm talking a substantial amount of money. You need to, have a degree. You need to be smart. You need to be a good provider. I've been saying that to my son forever. Every time that my son and I are out shopping or out getting something to eat, he says, oh, I can pay for my food. Oh, I can buy my own shoes. I can pay for this or that for school. And I let him. Because I'm like, great. He has a job. He has a vehicle. And he is becoming a man. And I'm allowing that to happen. I am not babying and coddling him. My son pays his car insurance. He sends me the money every month. That's not something I'm going to keep paying. As soon as my son had a job at 16, I did not buy any more clothes. I did not buy any more shoes. I did not buy any more food when he was out. He purchased those things, and that should happen. He has to learn to take care of himself. And now I've upped the ante. If we're out together and we want to get something to eat, I make him pay for me. That's what a healthy feminine woman who is a single mom, that's how she contributes to raising a healthy masculine man. You have expectations of your son. Masculine expectations. But what I'm seeing too many mothers are doing, they have no expectations of their son and no requirements. They are babying him. They're not giving him the message they're giving their daughters. I actually, was like, well, you want to go to college? To my daughters? Okay. You want to go to school? What would you like to do? This and that. But never once did I say, you can't depend on a man. What I tell them is, you need to choose the right man. You need to choose well. You need to choose a high earner. You need to choose a man who consistently works. You need to choose a man who, if you need to stay at home with your children, you have that as an option. You're not living a lifestyle where it's you and him out here working 40, 50 hours a week. Who's raising your children? So yes, you can depend on a man. I did. I stayed at home with my children and depended on my husband. And so you have to choose well. That's what I teach all of my children. Choose the best fit person for you. But I do tell my son, you need to have a good job. You need to make sure that you can provide for a household. And I don't hear single moms giving that message to their sons. I see single moms doing everything for their sons and allowing their sons to be shiftless, allowing them not to work, allowing them not to drive, and still cleaning their room and still washing their clothes, still cooking their meals. And they're 16, 17, 18, 21, 25, 28. That has to stop. We are part of the problem. And so if you are a single mom, if your son does not have his dad in his life, so here's my next tip. You need to get some male mentors around your son. You need to introduce healthy masculine men, men from your church, men at school, men in sports or coaches. Your son needs to have healthy male role models. He needs to have other men teaching him something about manhood, talking to him, and whether that's a healthy man that you're dating. That was true for me. The two men that I dated, both of them were good men. They were not crazy or doing anything crazy with my kids. Trust me when I say I well vetted them. And they were good role models for my children. My children saw them work hard. My children saw them treat me well and treat me with respect, treat me like a princess. So yeah, that's a great example for my son. That these guys don't curse my mom out. They're bringing her things. They're taking her places. They're doing things for us. They're bringing us things. They're working. They're spending time with their kids or bringing their kids over here. Like we're doing things together. That's normal and healthy. That's the person you want around your children. So not the guy who's not working, not the guy who's, doing illegal activity, not the guy who's treating you like crap. That's not a good example for your son. You don't need him around. You need a man that is a good example of a healthy masculine man. And even if you're not dating him, okay, maybe he's a coach. Maybe he's a male teacher. Maybe he's involved in your church or the church ministry in some way. Maybe he's with an organization like 100 Black Men or 4-H or some sort of, organization. But you need to go above and beyond to put your son in the presence of other healthy men. Because if there's no dad there, if you made a bad choice and the dad is gone, the dad is incarcerated, the dad, just doesn't want anything to do with you all, okay, then your next line of defense is to take responsibility for that and do something else. Do something else to get your son in front of a healthy male role model. That's it. And for the record, single moms, before you go there, so whenever I have to have these conversations with single moms, because they get triggered, because they are sensitive and they get triggered, they think that I am somehow blaming them. There is never any blame coming from me. There are facts. There's information. That's very different than you being blamed. But you and the father did, so here's the fact. You and the father laid down and had sexual intercourse and had a child. That's a fact. And one of you isn't around. One of you has disappeared. So in this case, if you're a single mom, it's the dad. Okay, that's a fact. And now the other one of you, because I want to believe you're a good person, a good woman, you're going to take on the responsibility of properly raising your son. That's a fact. And so I'm giving you tips and tools on how to do that. There's no blame, but I am going to give you some good, healthy advice based on the 53 years that I've lived. Okay? So there's no blame here. What's done is done. But because what's done is done, and here is where we are now, these are the tips I want to give you. So moving forward, you're not creating another man out here in the world that doesn't work, isn't responsible, out here making kids that he's not taking care of. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. I've already told my son countless amount of times. The number one worst mistake you can make, son, is to have a baby outside of wedlock. Do not have a baby outside of wedlock. Do not have a baby with a woman you would not marry. I've told my daughter the same thing. I've already expressed that was the healthy message that I received. Do not have a baby. Do not have a baby out of wedlock. Do not have a baby. Do not have a baby. Do not have a baby. And I did just that until I was almost 31. So yes, there's no harm or shame in saying that. Say that out of your mouth with words. The kids are not going to know that it's implied. Say out of your mouth, don't have no baby. I do it all the time. Don't have no baby. Don't bring no baby in here. Don't have no baby outside of wedlock. Don't have no baby before you've achieved something in life and had your dreams and your goals, because that's going to make it that much harder. Don't have no baby. So that's the message that your son and your daughters need to be hearing. And there's nothing wrong with that message. That is a healthy message. That's the message I got for years. Avoid getting pregnant. And to my son, avoid getting someone pregnant that you are not married to. Don't put your penis inside of a woman you don't want to have a baby with. That is a healthy message that you as a single mom can deliver to your son over and over and over, and your daughter. Don't let a man put his penis in you who you don't want to have a baby by, that you're not married to. The end. So, moms, you are the womb of civilization. I've said this over and over. You are the gatekeeper. Your role in your children's lives is paramount. Paramount. Dad's role is paramount too, in a whole different way. But your role is paramount. And I want you to take your power back and stop acting like there's nothing you can do. The dad has run off. You can't find any male role models. And this is and now I have to just take care of these children. No, you're going to do your part. You're going to do the best you know how to do. You're going to listen to healthy advice from people like me. And you're going to find some healthy role models. You're going to tell your children, sons and daughters, don't get pregnant without being married. Okay? Don't have a baby with someone that, you don't know. It's a lot of responsibility. And tell your sons and your daughters that. Teach your son to be responsible now. Give him responsibilities. Have expectations of him. He should not be living in your house, eating up all the food, smoking weed, drinking, not working, not having a driver's license or a car, not doing anything with himself. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And if you want to know why you can't rest in your femininity, some of you, it's because of the children in your home. It's because of your lack of delegation skills. It's because of the sons that, these 6'4" sons that you have that aren't doing anything. They aren't pulling their weight. They're not helping you. They're not allowing you to rest in your femininity. But as soon as your children are able, when your son turns 12 or 13, you are no longer nurturing. You are no longer coddling, and you are no longer enabling. You are respecting him and expecting him to be responsible, to pull his weight, to give and do, to serve you and the family. And that's it. You're not going to take anything less. But that's what is required. And you can keep coddling your son if you want. You can keep babying him and enabling him and saving him. And trust, he's not going anywhere. Because he's not going out into this cold, cruel world. I tell people, I make life at home so hard. I do that for a reason. I make life at home hard. I make my children responsible. I give them duties and things to do. I want them to leave my house to think they're escaping. I actually do that on purpose. So in their mind, they're thinking, you know what? Let me get out of here. Let me go find my own place. It's got to be easier there. It isn't. It isn't. But because I have prepared them to do the hard thing, when things get hard, when they're living on their own, they're going to be able to do that. But I do that on purpose. I make life hard. I have hard rules here on purpose because I don't want you to get comfortable. I don't want you to feel relaxed. Oh, yeah, I can just go home and chill and eat up all the food and turn up the heat all high and, just kick my feet up and watch Netflix and, I can just know you cannot. My children know my rule. If I'm up on my feet and I'm cleaning or I'm working in the yard, nobody sits down until I do. That has always been my rule. You don't stop until you see me stop. When I stop, you stop. But you have got to have that level of commitment to I am a part of the process of raising a good, healthy, masculine man. I am not his role model. I am not a man. I never will be. And you don't want to be. You are a healthy, feminine woman. But you can expect cherishing from your son. You can expect to rest in your femininity when you have a 15-year-old son that's 6'3" and 200 pounds. Oh, I'm going to be resting in my femininity, all right. So, but you've got to set it up that way. And too many moms are not. And that's why, I can't even date. I can't even feel pretty. I can't even feel feminine. I just am so overworked and overwhelmed. And, I just have so much to do. And I have to run home and prepare meals for my teenagers. No, you don't. No, you don't. I remember around 12 or 13. That's when that whole cooking 5-6 days a week, that started to get rolled back real fast. I was like, yeah, y'all can learn how to cook. You can open a can of soup. You can open a can of ravioli. You can make a sandwich. You can heat up a frozen pizza. You can make eggs. You can eat cereal. My children learned how to work it out because they were like, yeah, mom's going to rest in her femininity. She has to work. She's going to come home. She's going to be the girl. They know it. And especially my son. So yes, we got to do better. We have to do better. We play a huge part in helping our sons to become healthy masculine men, not by being their role model. But here's what we're going to do. Our sons want to make us happy. They want to please us, and you're going to show them how to do that. That's it. So simple. You're going to show your sons how to please you. So every time when my son was small and he's like, I'd say, hey, can you go upstairs and get mom's cell phone off her side table? Thank you. And then he'd bring it. Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. You're such a great son. Oh, you're so special. Like, that's how I do it. I teach my son that when he serves and he gets admired and respected for that, when he gets appreciation for that, yes, that's how that should go. So yes, moms, single moms, we have to do better because some of us are part of the problem. We're the problem. We're putting more men out into the world that are shiftless, that are lazy, that are in their feminine. And what did the lady on the Instagram post said? Yeah, these men, of course they want 50-50. Of course they want a woman to go out here and be a work mule because that's what he saw his mother do. Oh, not in my house. No. No, my son did not. There were expectations. I wasn't breaking my back. Ever since, like I said, my kids turned 12, 13, all that foolishness stopped. They became responsible for their little corner of our house and their little part of, our house. They clean, they cook, they wash their clothes. They keep everything straight in terms of their car and their finances and all of that. And I just, make sure those things run smoothly. But I don't put my hand on a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of things I don't do in my house. And I want to encourage and inspire other single moms to do the same thing. Because it's overdue. It's overdue. Okay, whatever choice you made in their father, whether you were married to him or not, okay. And if it didn't work out, if the dad is not doing everything he needs to do, okay. But now you have to make up for it on this end and say, you know what? The last thing I'm going to do is coddle my children and coddle my son and meet every little need he has. I'm not doing that. I'm not, giving him rides to work all the time when he won't get his driver's license like that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not cooking his meals and loaning him money. I'm not doing that. That's one of the issues that a lot of women today have is this codependency. It starts with their children and then it keeps going. It spills over into the men they date. We have to get healthy. We have to focus on ourselves. That's it. All right? So yes, single moms, you play a huge part in putting out healthy masculine men into the world. You just have to do your part. Have expectations of your son. Do your best to have his dad in his life. And that's regardless of how you feel about the dad. You're going to have to get over it. Regardless of how you feel about the dad or how the dad did you. Right? The dad could have done you wrong. But if the dad wants to be in his children's lives, he wants to see his children, see his son, he wants to take them out, he wants to do things with them, let him. Let him. Okay? And in my world, when they spend time with their dad, that's a break for me. That's what trips me out. Women are cutting off their nose in spite of their face. Oh, I don't want the child with him. Or I don't like him. Or I don't, he did me wrong. He did this and that. Okay, and I need a break. I need to rest in my feminine. I need to get dressed up and go on a date. So when they're with their dad on his weekend, that's what I can do. So focus on yourself. Of course, I want you to be good moms and do right by your children. But as your children get older, or if their dad is in their life and wants to see them and spend time with them and he's not crazy, right? These are some of the caveats. So the dad is not crazy out of his mind. He's not reckless. He's not, involved in illegal activity. He's not mentally ill. He's, he's a fairly stand-up guy. He works. He's not addicted. Of course, there are reasons to not have your children go with their biological father. Yes, if he has problems, if he's involved in illegal activity, if he's doing dangerous activity, if he's addicted to something, if he drinks and drives, if he, gets high all the time, sure. I get it. I wouldn't want my child going with that either. But outside of those things, let your children's father be with his children. Right? So yes, there are exceptions, of course. But, if he's not doing anything crazy, illegal, anything dangerous or going to hurt the child, let him be with his child. And forget him. Move on. Find you a new man. Find you a better man. Let that man be a father to your child. How about that? How about that for a solution? That was my solution. Let me find a better man than the man I chose to marry and have children with. And that better man can be a good role model to my children. See, you have that option. But sure, if the man is not crazy or doing anything crazy, let him see his children. The end. These are all the ways that you help put more masculine men out into the world. But by being the feminine, by adopting that polarity, even in your home, you can adopt polarity in your home with your son. I'm the girl. Son, I don't take out the trash. I used to tell my son that all the time. I don't do that. I don't take out the trash. I have a son to do that. And my son would call himself pushing back. Well, why don't you make, the other two do it? You don't make my sisters do it because they're girls. You're my son. I have no problem instilling gender roles at all. You're my son. And the expectation is there are things that you provide as a man. Yeah, I have no problem with it. So, yes, son, I'm teaching you these basic life skills, but I'm also teaching you some manly skills or expecting you to do some manly skills. I had my dad teach him how to paint. I had my dad teach him, some manly skills. Yes, that's what men do. So, yes, that's what my expectation is. But moms, you've got to step up. This is a part of the program now. You adopting polarity in your home with your son. And 11 or 12, that nurturing has got to stop. All that babying, all that saving and enabling, it has to stop. You have to have expectations of your son, and you have to allow him to meet them. That's it. So, I know this was a hard discussion. I had this talk over on Instagram with some of my single moms there. And again, some folks got triggered. Why are we always blamed? No one's blaming you. That's your trauma. No one's blaming you. But what I am, giving you facts about, and what I am advising that you do, okay, is make the best of the situation that you're in. There's no blame there, because what's done is done. You're a single mother. You have children and their dad doesn't live with you, isn't married to you, or isn't around. Okay? Make the best of the situation. That's the advice that I'm giving you. And here's the thing. I offer it up because I believe in you. I believe you have it in you to make the best of the situation. I believe you have the power to be better and to do better. That's why I'm making the suggestion. If I didn't think so and I didn't care, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, if you're a single mom, all your sons are going to grow up to be, feminine energy men. You're just putting more of these guys out, more beta males out into the world. And, that's what single moms do. No, I'm a single mother. And I require that my son be a man, period. He is my polar opposite. That's what I require. So yes, that's what I want you to do. And I believe that you have the power to do that. So I know this was a tough, episode to listen to, but hear my heart. Understand that it was delivered in love, as it always is, even when it's tough. I'm your tough auntie. Remember, I am the auntie that's going to give it to you straight, no chaser. I'm going to give it to you in love and kindness, but I'm going to be radically honest. That's all I know how to do. So hear my heart on this one. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast episode. I am actually taking a hiatus until the first week of January because I will be working on completing the book. So the podcast will take a little break. I will return the first or second week of January. January is Man Crush Month. So I am reaching out to some male coaches and influencers right now, trying to get those interviews set up for next month. I am super excited. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on who I should interview, please email it to me or DM me on Instagram or send me a message through Facebook. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. And as always, stay open to love. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.